on this computer. Oh, I don't want to. Hey everybody, it's me, Cindy Berger from My Journey. Today we are going to talk about a couple things, mainly how the effects on your body after long-term use of alcohol. And we're going to talk about a couple alcohol myths and things like that. So let's get into it. I have my screen sharing feature on to show you the alcohol associated, organ damage that a bunch of different things can happen to your body from long-term drinking. So let's get into that. So, okay, so even, drinking too much on a single occasion or over time can take a serious toll on our health. So here's how alcohol can affect your body. So the brain here, neurologic, strokes, two different types of strokes. Alcohol interferes with the brain's communication pathways and can affect the way the brain looks and works. These disruptions can change your mood and your behavior and make it harder to think clearly and move with, coordination. Your heart here is a muscle. Myopathy, wasting. Oh, wait, am I reading the right thing? Lung, liver. So drinking a lot over time or too much on a single occasion can damage the heart, causing problems such as something called cardiomyopathy, which is stretching and drooping of the heart muscle. It can also cause arrhythmias, which means an irregular heartbeat. It can cause stroke and also high blood pressure. The liver, so it takes a serious toll on the liver, and it can lead to a variety of problems and liver inflammation, including, sorry if I pronounce this the wrong way, steatosis, or in other words, fatty liver, hepatitis, alcoholic hepatitis. It can cause fibrosis and cirrhosis. So the pancreas, the pancreas is used to, I'm sorry, excuse me, alcohol causes the pancreas to produce toxic substances that can eventually lead to acute or chronic pancreatitis, which is a dangerous inflammation in the pancreas that causes swelling and pain, and it may spread throughout your body, and it impairs the ability to make very important enzymes and hormones that are needed for proper digestion. So also it can cause cancer. According to the National Cancer Institute, there is a strong consensus backed up by science that alcohol drinking, excuse me, can cause several types of cancer. And in its report on carcinogens, the National Toxicology Program of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services says that consumption of alcoholic beverages as a known human carcinogen. So that's pretty big. The evidence indicates that the more alcohol a person drinks, particularly the more alcohol a person drinks regularly over time, the higher his or her risk of developing an alcohol-associated cancer. So even those who have no more than one drink per day and people who binge drink means those who consume 4 or more drinks for women and 5 or more drinks for men in one sitting, have a modestly increased risk of some cancers. And based on data from 2009, an estimated 3.5% of cancer deaths in the U.S. Were alcohol related, and 3.5% means about 19,500 deaths that were alcohol related. So clear patterns have emerged between alcohol consumption and increased risks of certain types of cancer. So we're going to talk about the different types of cancer you can get from drinking. Excuse me, that is head and neck cancer, including oral cavity, the pharynx and larynx cancer, esophageal cancer, particularly esophageal squamous cell carcinoma. In addition, people who inherit a deficiency in an enzyme that metabolizes the alcohol have been found to have substantially increased risks of esophageal cell carcinoma if they consume alcohol. It can also cause liver cancer and also breast cancer. Studies have shown that you have an increased risk of breast cancer in women with increasing your alcohol intake. Women who consume even one drink per day have a 5 to 9% higher chance of developing breast cancer than women who do not drink at all. Colorectal cancer, not really sure what that is. I should have looked it up. That's my fault. But there's also more information about the alcohol and cancer information on the National Cancer Institute's webpage called Alcohol and Cancer Risks. And that was just updated in 2021. So also, not only, does it affect all those organs and give you cancer, it can also affect your immune system. Drinking too much can weaken your immune system, making your body much easier to be a target for any kind of disease. Chronic drinkers are more liable to get these diseases like pneumonia and tuberculosis versus people who don't drink too much or don't drink at all. Drinking a lot on a single occasion slows your body's ability to ward off infections even up to 24 hours after getting drunk. So I'm going to talk more about the effects on the body in an interactive body feature thing here. Let me close this up and show you what I was talking about. Why did it go away? Okay. So it's going to be alcohol and you, an interactive body. So I'm going to show you the interactive body feature here. So hopefully this works. My JavaScript is enabled, so hopefully we can just click on these. Yep, okay, so the lungs. It says it only recently has been recognized that alcohol misuse also increases the risk of acute lung injury following major trauma, such as a serious motor vehicle accident or other event requiring hospitalization. I'm not going to read the whole thing because I don't want to bore you, and it's a lot. But, okay, so let's see what else. Brain. Alcohol makes it harder for the brain to control your balance, like I was talking about earlier. Memory, speech, and judgment to do your job, resulting in a higher likelihood of injuries and other negative outcomes. Long-term heavy drinking causes alterations in the neurons, such as reductions in their size, the brain size. As a result of these and other changes, brain mass shrinks and the brain's inner cavity grows bigger. People with alcohol use disorder often have problems with memory, sleep, and mood long after the alcohol wears off. So nearly every organ system of our body is affected by alcohol. For anybody over the age of 18 and older, or anyone that, because let's face it, there are people and kids that are drinking well under the age of 18. Okay, where'd my page go? But anyways, so even a serving or two of alcohol per day can increase your risk of certain cancers. And drinking heavily over a couple of years can cause irreversible damage to virtually every organ. Alcohol can also impact brain development And fortunately, diseases caused by alcohol misuse can be prevented by reducing, or even better, stopping drinking alcohol. And we can click on more of these interactive things here. Let's see, we talked about the liver. It's supposed to break down enzymes such as alcohol dehydrogenase. It contributes to inflammation and other compounds that damage liver cells. It can cause your liver to become fatty, and that makes you vulnerable to dangerous inflammation, such as, like I said earlier, alcoholic hepatitis. With continued drinking, persistent inflammation causes fibrous tissues to increase in the liver, which prevents the necessary blood supply from reaching the liver cells. So without the oxygen and other nutrients supplied by this blood, the liver cells eventually die and are replaced with scar tissue, creating a condition known as cirrhosis. In mild cases, the liver can actually make repairs and continue to function. However, if you have the advanced stage of cirrhosis, it can cause continued deterioration and also liver failure. Okay, so we touched that. Did we go? Nope, we didn't talk about the heart. We did earlier, like I was saying, cardiomyopathy. It weakens your heart. It stretches it out. It basically, picture a rubber band. If you pull it too many times, it's going to become a loose, droopy rubber band. That is the ventricles in your heart when you drink. Over time, binge drinking, chronic alcohol misuse, etc. The kidneys, binge drinking or chronic alcohol consumption can interfere with kidney function directly or indirectly as a consequence of alcohol or on other organs. Normally, the rate of blood flow through the kidneys is tightly controlled so that plasma can be filtered and substances the body needs, such as electrolytes, can be reabsorbed under optimal circumstances. So advanced liver disease impairs this important balancing act. However, if you, by either greatly augmenting or reducing the rates of plasma flow and filtration through a mass of capillaries called the glomeruli. One of the main functions of the kidneys is to regulate both the volume and the composition of our body fluid, including our electrolytes such as sodium, potassium, and chloride ions. However, alcohol can have the diuretic effect of increasing urine volume. This in turn can change the body's fluid level and disturb the electrolyte balance. So that's probably why, all the sodium and all that, that's probably why you're so freaking thirsty and dehydrated afterwards. And that's exactly why that happens. Oh, why does this keep happening? Clicking on something that I don't know what I'm clicking on. Okay, go away. Thank you. All right, so I also wanted to go over a couple alcohol myths, because I think it's just important. Let me stop screen sharing. So, okay, so the first myth that I'm gonna talk about is is that I can drink and still be in control. So that is a myth because drinking impairs our judgment, which increases the likelihood that we'll do something that we'll regret later. It increases the chance that you'll cause harm to others and or not be aware of the potential dangers around you. It also affects your critical decision-making abilities, because they're already diminished long before a person shows physical signs of intoxication. The second myth is drinking isn't all that dangerous. So the fact for that is, many risks are associated with drinking. We know that, like impaired driving, unintentional injuries, violence, unsafe sexual behavior, suicide attempts, overdoses, and even death. Some college students who don't drink may experience secondhand effects such as disrupted study and sleep or being involved in an alcohol-related assault. Myth 3 is I can sober up quickly if I have to. And the fact of the matter is, it takes about 2 hours for the adult body to eliminate the alcohol content of one single drink, depending on your weight. So nothing can speed up this process, not even coffee or cold showers. All of that is a myth. Basically all you can do is give it time and wait it out. There's nothing else you can do to speed up the process. No matter what people tell you, it's not true. Don't take a risk, wait it out, or get a ride home. Myth 4 for women, it's okay for me to drink to keep up with the guys. Okay, so I understand what peer pressure is. We've all been victims of it. Women process alcohol very differently. So no matter how much a guy drinks, if you drink the same amount as your male friends, your blood alcohol concentration will tend to be higher, putting you at a greater risk for harm. So keep that in mind. Myth number 5, beer doesn't have as much alcohol as hard liquor. Okay, so a 12-ounce bottle of regular beer is about 5% alcohol by volume, and it has the same amount of alcohol as a 5-ounce glass of wine. So that's about 12% alcohol by volume, or 1.5-ounce shot of liquor or distilled spirits is about 40% alcohol by volume. Myth number 6 is I'll be better off if I learn to, quote, hold my liquor. Okay, so for some people who drink, it takes quite a few drinks to, get a buzz or feel relaxed, and they may be less likely to show signs of intoxication compared to others. This is sometimes called holding your liquor or, drinking someone under the table. Often they are actually unaware that their body's lower response to the intoxicating effects of alcohol isn't protection from alcohol problems, but instead it is a reason for caution. These individuals tend to drink more, they socialize with people who drink a lot, and develop a tolerance to alcohol. In other words, it takes more and more alcohol to feel or act intoxicated. As a result, they have an increased risk for developing AUD, alcohol abuse disorder. Someone who misuses alcohol, especially over the long-term period, can experience, like we talked about earlier, permanent liver, heart, or brain damage. And all people who drink, regardless of the amount, need to be aware that critical decision-making abilities and driving-related skills are already diminished long before a person shows physical signs of intoxication. Okay, so you may think that you're not drunk or you just have a buzz and you're fine to drive. You're probably not, or most likely you're not. And then the last one is myth number 7, and that is I can manage to drive well enough after a few drinks. Okay, so the fact of the matter is the effects of alcohol start sooner than people realize, like I was just explaining. Mild impairment is about a 0.5 blood alcohol concentration, starting to affect speech, memory, attention, coordination, and balance. So literally, if you have a blood alcohol of 0.5, which is not a lot, it's already affecting your speech, memory, attention, coordination, and balance. And if you are under the age of 21, driving after drinking any amount of alcohol is illegal and you could lose your license. The risks of a fatal crash for drivers with a positive blood alcohol content compared with other drivers increase as the BAC increases, and the risks increase more steeply for drivers younger than age 21 versus older drivers. Critical decision-making abilities and driving-related skills are already diminished, I'll say it a million times, long before a person shows sign of physical intoxication. So, how can we get help for this? Getting help, you can talk to your primary care physician or a mental health practitioner. and they can diagnose you with alcohol use disorder by combining new medications with brief counseling visits. To aid these clinicians, the NI triple A has developed a guide for younger patients, and this is where I'm getting all my information from the NI. Uh, it's the National Institute on Alcohol and yeah, alcohol and whatever abuse. So they have developed a guide for younger patients, and it is an alcohol screening and brief intervention for youth. So it is a practitioner's guide, but you can get a lot of useful information from it. I have all the resources if anybody wants them. I have resources for health professionals and community leaders that you can use to get more information. You can also go to someone who specializes in alcohol use disorder. So, for specialty addiction treatment options, you want to contact your doctor, your health insurance plan, your local health department, or even, I mean, I'll say your employee assistance program, but a lot of people are scared to even, you know, utilize that because they're afraid of what their employer will think or do. But actually you can't be fired if you seek help. I believe, I'm not, don't quote me with every state, but I'm pretty sure in Pennsylvania at least that I know of, you cannot be fired for seeking out mental health whatever through your insurance because all that's supposed to be confidential. um if you go to rehab or you're diagnosed and you anything with addiction. So medical and non-medical addiction specialists, there's a whole list of numbers and websites like American Academy of Addiction Psychiatry. There is the APA, which is the American Psychological Association, and it's going to ask for your state referral number to find psychologists with addiction specialties. There's also American Society of Addiction Medicine. There is also the Association for Addiction Professionals. There is the National Association of Social Workers. And then, of course, there are substance use treatment facilities. And I have which I use and I give to everybody. It's a facility, I can't talk, facility locator through SAMHSA. So I have the phone number and the websites for that. I'll be posting everything in the event. And on the My Journey group page, I'll post all this information with all the links and the phone numbers. There's also mutual support groups like AA. There's moderation management. There's smart recovery. There's women for sobriety. There's also groups for family and friends like Al-Anon family groups. There's adult children of alcoholics. And I will also provide the resources that I use for today's topic. I got my information from the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism. I got my information from the National Institute on Drug Abuse and also the National Institute of Mental Health. So that concludes my topic for today on long-term effects of alcohol abuse. So if anybody has anything to comment before I turn the recording off, please say so now.
Yeah, this reminds me, I used to drink all the time, and I believed or I knew they were myths, but I, told
Right.
myself keep up with my friend who's like 3 inches taller and 100 pounds heavier than me and all that.
Yep.
I try to outdrink her because there's like a competition between us.
Yep. I've done all those. I've believed in the peer pressure. I fell for the whole, oh, take a cold shower, you'll be fine. All that. We've all been told, stuff like that. And we probably knew in the back of our minds that maybe it was sounded a little fishy, but we went with it anyway. you know, it is what it is. We're still here. We're still alive and kicking. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly. We beat the odds. I mean,
Yep, exactly. So I'm gonna turn the recording off and then we can talk about whatever we want to talk about. All right, so that concludes today's topic. We will see you next week with our next topic. I believe it's going to be on um, nicotine. So we're going to start getting into topics like gambling, nicotine, um, sex. Did I say gambling? You know, different types of addictions versus just the substances and the alcohol. So I'm looking forward to that. I've been doing a little bit of research on it, so that'll be what we're going to be doing next week. So let me turn this recording off, and I will see you all next week, and then us three can talk, or us four can talk.